Now, Ricky Mathews, host of the Ricky Mathews Show. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, my friend. How you doing? Good to see you again.
Good to see you. So we were just talking about this Hurricane Milton that swept across the Florida peninsula. It certainly caused a lot of damage, and but it, in general, because it took a little bit of a tilt to the south before it made landfall, I guess most of the folks in that region are saying it could have been a whole bunch worse if it had been a direct hit on the Tampa Bay area.
I mean, one of the worst case scenarios for the entire United States is a dry run that they did called Project Phoenix, where a hurricane goes right into the mouth of Tampa Bay and unprecedented storm surge. We didn't face that. That would have affected the national economy. That would have affected insurance rates. They're actually doing water rescues as we speak. There's a huge flooding threat that's going to happen. I think 126 tornado warnings, the most number of tornadoes in a single day. There are deaths associated with that. It was a bad storm.
Yeah.
But it could have been so much worse.
Yeah. Just got a text on that. I think Dog, the bounty hunter, lives in Florida, and he reported 127 tornado warnings.
Yeah.
I was watching it on the radar last night, and something that's fairly rare, when you get the little polygons on the maps that you can click on, and it'll tell you what sort of warning or watch that represents, water spouts.
Yes.
You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
And that's as, of course, the storm was moving across the peninsula and going out to sea and still spinning out there. Water spouts, that's just something we don't see.
These tornadoes, the technical name for the tornadoes that they experienced as a result of Milton was wedge tornadoes. And these are the kind of tornadoes you would expect to see in Kansas. You know, these were large, destructive, the ones that were on land, large, destructive tornadoes. And the story is yet to be told about what that's going to be about. But if, again, 2 million people without power, I think 3 million people that are in flood zones that have warnings. This is still going to play out over a number of days, but still, it could have been so much worse.
Yeah.
We're lucky. I mean, we're feeling for the people down there. We're praying for their recovery.
The governor, Ron DeSantis, conducted a press conference this morning, and I tuned in for a good bit of that. Of course, he was flanked for all those that run the various emergency management response organizations, including the Florida National Guard, and he was talking about all the support that has descended upon Florida from the other states, including National Guardsmen coming from other states. I believe our governor's dispatched a couple of units as well. He actually sounded pretty optimistic about getting the power restored, said that there are thousands of crews there ready to go, staged, talked about the bridges and roads, and in fact he said that although some of those are closed for safety reasons, that they're going to be reopened soon.
Yeah, I watched the entire press conference.
Okay.
It's interesting to watch DeSantis in business. He's a man made for these moments.
He's good at it.
And you think about pre-positioning 50,000, or maybe even more than that, power utility company employees. They have a mutual emergency medical system that each of the states go into, so they can draw down and let the other governors know what they need. They do such a good job at helping each other out. And, of course, Governor Reeves immediately sent people there. I'm sure that he's waiting now to figure out how else he can help. It's a really terrific mutual sharing that they do. And Mississippi benefits from that, obviously, when something like a major storm hits here.
Yeah, because we can't handle it just with the resources we have within the state. We expect some degree of reciprocation, and so when we're spared and our neighbors need help, we're quick on the scene. And there's lots of private organizations, churches, and other entities that have also responded to the call, primarily in North Carolina the last couple of weeks. But now we've got this problem in Florida. Doesn't seem to be as bad in that the people affected weren't as isolated.
Yeah, right. So you can get to them.
You can get to them, and the roads seem to be passable. I saw, I'm sure you did too, lots of video from the various large cities, including Orlando, Jacksonville, St. Pete, Tampa, Sarasota, et cetera. I mean, it seems like that for the most part you can maneuver and get around. You see the power's on. You see the cars moving around.
Yeah.
So all that's good news. And I think the governor also said that lots of folks did, in fact, heed the warnings, went further inland, staying in hotels and other safe places, and now I think they're released and they're going to let them back go check the property.
Yeah.
And so forth.
So it's amazing to think about what they experienced yesterday and last night, and then look at us down here this morning.
I know. I mean, I have to admit, you feel a little guilty, honestly.
I know. It is something.
Because you feel for those that are in the way. We're sort of limited what we can do here. And the governor also said that he had all the resources that he needed to affect a response, and he felt good about it. He is a take charge sort of guy in these situations, isn't he?
He's a smart dude, and you have to be a multitasker. And, the other thing is you have to have a team that you rely on and support. The chief financial officer for the state of Florida is a friend of mine's cousin, so I have some sense of awareness of him, and he is a gifted dude, very, very smart. And, I actually saw him on CNN yesterday. Tremendous job of just sort of not only representing Florida, but going through some of the sophisticated challenges that they'll face in the wake of the storm. But the governor brings people like that around him, and it's clear you can't survive as a governor in a state that large if you don't have great people working for you.
The job's much bigger than one person, obviously. And the other thing you notice, you probably picked up on as well, Ricky, is every one of those folks, like the CFO of Florida, like the lieutenant governor, like the adjutant general of the National Guard, head of their emergency response and Department of Transportation units, they're always quick to credit the governor, if you notice that. So they feel like they can get their job, that he gives them the leeway, the resources, and the support they need to get their job done, and that's important.
Yeah, you go back to Ian and any other number of disasters they've had to face. Helene more recently. They know how to do this, and it takes a village. We know that ourselves from the tornadoes and the floods and the hurricanes that Mississippi has to deal with.
Yeah, and Florida, honestly, speaking of the tornadoes, it's a little unusual for them to experience tornadoes because they don't have that clash of the temperatures that forces tornadoes. We don't have the cold fronts impacting with the warmer air. That's what spins up the tornadoes for us, mainly in the spring.
Yeah, it was a very unusual situation. They expected there to be tornadoes, but they didn't expect
Not
anything
127.
like what they experienced. A record, never that many in a 24-hour period warnings. And again, we still don't fully understand the scope of that particular aspect of the disaster. It'd be interesting to watch.
A little review of Cruising the Coast. You and I visited yesterday. Of course, you hosted the Ricky Mathews Show from our vantage point there at the Biloxi Green with a view of all those incredible classic vehicles. It looks like it, once again, going to be a fantastic event. Woody Bailey, his team, the coastal tourism, do a great job.
It's amazing. Think of Woody and Rob and the team, 2 or 3 people in that office for Cruising the Coast. Now, they work around the clock 24 hours a day for 365
all year.
But the rest of the time, like now, it's 700 plus volunteers from the car clubs and the chambers and all these people coming together. I mean, it is a massive undertaking. When you think what's happening in Waveland and Bay St. Louis, all the way over to Moss Point and Pascagoula and every city in between, the way they complement one another and showcase coastal Mississippi in one fell swoop across a week like this, what a great momentous occasion it is for coastal Mississippi.
It really is incredible, and of course the opportunity for the Mississippi Gulf Coast and the state of Mississippi to showcase its beauty, its hospitality, its most precious asset, its people, to folks that come in and visit from all over the country as well as abroad.
Yeah, no, when you had this recent documentary, Mississippi's Hidden Coast, from this company that has featured hidden coasts from around the world. The very first one they pick in America is the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And so the visitors here for Cruising the Coast, some have not been here before. Some have been here every year. Yeah. But they're coming here to appreciate this unbelievable asset that Mississippi has here. Yeah. It's amazing.
It is incredible. So what about this RV park?
Isn't it amazing?
It's incredible, isn't it?
I read something from Andrew Lloyd Webber at the beginning of my show earlier, and it was just a quote that said that one thing can make the difference between success and failure. When you walk around here, you get the sense of a little bit like Jurassic Park. They spared no expense.
No doubt.
The bathroom's the most beautiful bathroom in the world, the cleanest. the pool, the lazy river. I mean, everything about it. I mean,
Yeah.
anyone who would come to an RV park, what they're going to experience here, not just a great location. You and I can see Cat Island and shrimp boats and whatever.
I talked about that. Beautiful view of the Gulf.
But it really meets all their needs. It's an amazing place.
You're essentially bringing a place to hang your hat and lay down and sleep. Everything else is provided. For the most
It is.
part.
It's a
Really
real
cool.
resort.
There's no doubt about it. Ricky, appreciate you coming on. This
Okay.
looks like it's going to be a great weekend for cruising the coast.
You bet. You bet.
Folks, we're stepping aside for a break right now. When we return, it's Kurt Allen, president of the Mississippi Aquarium. Stay with us.